I want to offer a couple of tools for this tonight. When it comes to complex PTSD, one of the things that I never got because I just think therapists didn't know. I didn't know to ask for it and they didn't know to give it to me. And it's a huge part of what I do today as a healer is realistic expectations. Much like what I just explained about the goal of recovery from complex PTSD. Because remember, one thing that I try to remind you guys a lot of is thoughts almost always wrong. Body can never be wrong. So the realistic expectations are in recovery, it gets worse before it gets better because my body is relearning all this shit and releasing all this shit. And so it energetically is a growth stage, which anytime I'm growing, it hurts. So the realistic expectation is really supportive of me because as a little girl, when I would look to mom and dad for a reality check, what I usually got was not reality. It was their reality, but it was not reality. And so it's so important to me today because so many of us with complex PTSD are also perfectionists. It's really important for me that I take the world from here when I feel like I can't do it all and I bring it into a bite size because that is so much more realistic. I can ADS, I can get a gold medal for ADSing. If you don't know what that is, it's an amberism, don't Google it. It's always doing shit. It's my form of numbing and medicating. If dad or mom drove up in the driveway and we were sitting down watching TV, we all jumped up quick and acted like we were doing something productive, something, I don't know, cleaning something. And so even today, it's hard for me to rest because if my husband comes in the door, I feel like I need to be doing something. He doesn't give a shit. But my nervous system tells me I need to be doing something. Remember when I said I have to teach my nervous system that I'm no longer in danger? I'm not in danger. My husband wants me to sit the hell down most of the time, not clean the kitchen. So when it comes to complex PTSD, using those realistic expectations to bring it down and bring it in, because that's part of why we dissociate. It feels so big. It feels too big. And so when I even offered the definition of mindfulness, it's like, no, let's bring it back here. Let's slow it down. With complex PTSD, another tool that I find really helpful outside of guided meditations or moving meditations, like people that like to walk, that is a form of meditation, or excuse me, a form of mindfulness. The more, when I can use things like task-oriented mindfulness, it allows me to come home. Remember a few weeks ago when we talked about grounding? Okay, well, what is it and why do I need it and why haven't I had it? Grounding for somebody with complex PTSD, because we've learned to live most of our life in survival, it's really hard. And it is the reason I said to you guys, I asked a therapist, I don't know, am I grounded? How do I know? Like, they don't teach you that shit, right? So if you're in session with my clinicians, that's why you're doing groundedness, so that we can start to learn the muscle and see if we could get some muscle memory to figure out what the hell it is for me. And so when it comes to being grounded for me, task-oriented mindfulness is what would allow me to come home. And home is here. Home is, I keep me safe when I'm home. When I'm outside of my body, I'm not safe because I'm using numbing and medicating. I'm hurting me. And when it comes to mindfulness, it is not the duration that I'm home. It's the frequency of coming back. It doesn't mean I need to be in my body an hour. There's no fucking rule written anywhere that says that. It means when I'm standing in the kitchen and washing the dishes, task-oriented mindfulness. I'm washing the dishes. I literally say this shit out loud. So does my 6-year-old. I don't know if that's good modeling or not, but his teachers think he's a little out there. It is when I'm in the shower, I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do in my first session. It's robbing me of my own self-care. When I'm in the shower, I say, I'm in the shower. I'm washing my hair. Because you know what happens if I don't? I'm planning my first session. And no offense, but that's supposed to be me time. So task-oriented mindfulness is a tool that I use personally and professionally with complex PTSD because it teaches me how to do frequency. It teaches me how to come back home, and it's not another task that I have to add on my to-do list. I can't do that. I'm already doing too much shit. I want to point out something that Bob said that was so powerful to me. It made my heart smile. And this is the power of our bodies, even when we don't know it. Bob, is it okay if I repeat something that you said? Bob said, I remember sitting on my bed, rocking. That is self-soothing. That is, our body knows what we need, even if cognitively and in our brain we don't. When I'm rocking, I'm soothing my nervous system. This is why when a baby cries and gets upset, we start patting, bouncing, and rocking. It mimics the heartbeat. So even if I don't know that I have a relationship with me and me, and even if I don't know that I am my best friend, I'm actually showing up in a way that is, even when I don't know it. So often I find those of us suffering or surviving, I should say, complex PTSD, we're doing a hell of a lot better than we give ourselves credit. And sometimes it just takes the reflection to be able to notice that. So that might have been more than two tools, but I hope that that was helpful.